What's going on, guys? Today I'm gonna do a little cross country up to a park that's about like 20 miles north of here. It's been pretty cloudy all day and the wind's out of the south, so that means I'm gonna have a tailwind on the way up and a headwind on the way back. So most likely on the way up there, I'm gonna climb to a higher altitude and get that tailwind advantage. And then on the way home, I'll probably track lower to punch to the headwind better. I'm also gonna be trying out speed bar on the way up. I did some videos in the past about speed bar, seeing how fast my wing can potentially go, but I never really tested it as far as efficiency goes. So today I'm gonna test the efficiency on the way up there. Before we get going, I want to briefly explain to you guys what speed bar is and how it works. So right here we have a riser. Down here is where I connect it to the paramotor. This is the front and this is the back, so A's, B's, C's, D's. You guys have seen me use the trim system before. That is this guy right here. So what this does is I can press this little lever, this slides up, and you can see it allows the C's and D's to go up. Now this changes the angle of attack of the wing. So if this is the front, it basically points it down more. To get that back in, essentially you just pull and it closes it back up. Now on the front of the wing, we have the speed bar system. So this little guy here gets hooked to a line that runs through my harness and then sits right about by my knees, and that's connected to a bar. I put my feet on it and I press it forward. So when I press forward, that pulls down the leading edge of the wing. So you can see the A's, B's, and C's are all being pulled down. Essentially that does the same thing. It dives the front of the wing so that we can go faster. Now those two systems can be used together by connecting these two clips here. When I connect those like that, now everything is basically mastered to the speed bar system. I let the trims out, and then when I pull the speed bar, everything shifts. So what we get with that, changing the angle of attack, is basically more speed. This wing I calculated goes about 27 miles an hour, everything closed, and max speed was about 44, 45 miles an hour. Now that's pretty fast on the top end, but basically the most efficient setting for gallons per hour is all the way closed, the slowest setting. But I want to see how much gas I burn going the fastest speed. I'm gonna get the motor warmed up and we'll get to it. Sick! Before we go, I suppose I should find exactly where this park is. Also, gonna throw my strobe. I think we have about 2 hours till sunset now, just in case the wind gets the best of me. I get stuck, I'll have half an hour extra. All right, we're all clipped in. Got all my freaking speed bar lines set up. Got about 12 liters of gas on board. Let me get the Scout fired up. First pull. So apparently there's been a bit of a wind gust. All right, wing's a little wonky back there, but I think we've got enough wind to make it go. Right, so I'm gonna keep my trims in and my speed bar off just to gain a little altitude here, just enough to get over the hill. All right, so that's probably enough altitude for right now at least. I can tell when I face south, I'm nearly parked, so I know the wind up here is still moving pretty good, which means on the way back, I'm surely gonna have to fly as low as possible. I wanna observe right now, you can see right here there's a ridge that flattens out, there's another ridge that flattens out, and beyond that there's a third one. So my intended path right now is over all these hills. On my way home, I might skirt around them to the west so that I can stay lower, closer to the ground, and get in that wind that's moving a little bit slower. Let's first engage B cam, because my legs are gonna be out for freaking speed bar anyway. Why not get a shot on there? I'll film up here so you guys can see. My riser's basically neutral right now. I'm gonna go ahead and press bar. And now we're going freaking super fast. Okay, so I feel like I'm gonna have to yell a little bit because I'm at high power to keep myself level. So you should be able to see on the horizon, it's a little bit foggy out there, but that ridge all the way on the horizon that dips down is the Delaware Water Gap. Now that's about 25 miles away. Off to your left here, you'll see the Mill Creek Reservoir, home to multiple bald eagles. Sound like a freaking tour guide. Yeah, dude! We're gonna get there in like no time. Can I do it? Oh yeah. We'll conserve some power with that single foot speed bar transition. Alright, so this is the third ridge I talked about that I'm just crossing over now. After this, it's basically flat. Now, when I come back, I might hug the river and just stay low and skirt around this mountain. We got a freaking power plant over here. You gotta watch out for that guy. If those things kick on, it makes a huge column of rising warm air. I've heard like horror stories of hot air balloons getting stuck in that. They get just sent up super high in the updraft. In one of my previous videos, I talked about how sometimes I go out on an hour-long adventure and sometimes it's just, 15 minutes or half an hour of throwing down. This type of flying is so much fun too, because you're just at, 2,000-3,000 feet. You got this view all around. We got Pennsylvania here. We got New Jersey over there. Got a freaking turkey buzzard. You just get to see so far and wide. Like, look at this. Look at that river. So dope. Alright, so we're getting relatively close. You can see the water gap right there. Today I'm not going to have time to fly the water gap. In the future, I'm going to drive up here and then I'm going to fly the water gap. But the park I'm looking for is somewhere on this side of the water gap, off of a major highway. So I'm going to keep looking for that. I'm going to keep my altitude high for now so that I have a good visual of where I need to go. I smell something pretty peculiar. It smells like perfume or something. I don't wear perfume. You can see my legs are shaking. The speed bar actually takes a lot of effort to push out. Maybe it's just my chicken legs. Okay, I believe I see our target destination. It's this really thin, narrow strip, and it's mostly covered by trees right now. Hopefully it's calm enough on the ground that I don't encounter bad turbulence. Yep, that is for sure it. You can see the baseball diamond right there, and I remember that old bridge trestle thing. I feel like a freaking space shuttle coming into land. Like normally, if I was off bar, I would nearly feel stationary. You can tell I'm moving. I chose not to wear my gloves like an idiot. I have them in my pocket. That's a nice view of the gap. That's a solid place to hike if you're ever in the New Jersey, Pennsylvania area. It's about 1,000-foot vertical. Relief. My legs thank me. I'm gonna stow my speed bar on my little Velcro tab here. There she is. Target destination. Alright, I can see a flag down there. Wind direction is definitely out of the south. My best bet is probably gonna be just to come in crosswind here. There's a couple people on the walking path. Really hope it doesn't get turbulent when I get down there because it's kind of in a hole. These people surely are going to be confused. Let's bring it down this way. People getting out their iPhones already. Surely he's going to crash. Rad. Traffic stopping. People filming on their iPhones. I'm just having a good time. I should totally make up some story that like I'm looking for Norway or something. Alrighty, I'm gonna unclip all my stuff. We'll do a little assessment. Wow, that's a gust. Sure, I'm gonna have a good time climbing out of here. Rad. Everything looks legit. Fuel assessment. So I started at 11. Looks like we burned 3 liters. That is definitely a lot for the amount of time that I flew. But for the distance that I flew, that's not too bad. Did we not log anything? Alright, so the time is 4:31. Sunset is around 5:50, I think. 5:45-ish. So that gives us just about an hour by the time I get set up. Not too much time to make it back with that wind situation. Definitely gonna take it low for most of the track back. It feels like the wind's coming primarily this way. So I'm gonna go down to the end of that field. I'll launch, come up over this way, and we'll be out. Like I said, this is kind of like a little hole. Like there's hills on all sides. So definitely gonna be funky, but I think we'll be okay. Alright, I'm gonna go lay out my stuff and we'll be ready to launch again. Alright, we're about ready to go again. I'd stay longer and explore this little area, but there's not much time till sunset, even though I have an extra half an hour with my strobe. This is for sure one of those launches that I don't want anything to go wrong, because I got trees there. I'm in a bowl where I have to climb up and out through turbulence. I'm just gonna get a little bit of altitude, aim for the river, and step on it. People probably think, who the hell is this crazy dude landing at my park? Okay. Plan is, don't hit that goal, don't hit the trees, climb up and over everything, but it's gonna be spicy. Righteous. Nice and easy. That wasn't so bad at all. I like to sort of let the airspeed build and turn that energy into altitude rather than just trying to yank it off the ground. Now, I just want to get a little bit more altitude just because this area is pretty wooded. I want to have more options if I were to have an engine out. Now, this is going to be a tricky one. I can feel how strong the wind is. Hopefully I haven't made a horrible decision to fly this far downwind. I'm never gonna make it home in time. It's always an adventure. Okay, that seems about decent. I'm going to rip out my speed bar, make sure we're all routed properly before I go ahead and step on it, and engage horribly loud audio, just for shits and giggles, as they say. Let's swing our course past that factory. Check out those towers. I guess this place is still active. The place looks like a whole lot of tetanus. That's sick, dude. Yeah, I can tell my ground speed is considerably lower now that I'm headed back home. Alright, so now I'm navigating at a much lower altitude, so it's kind of harder to see where I'm going. I would think that I should follow the river, but if I look on the horizon, I can see the towers that were right next to the big reservoir, and I can also see the power plant just over the horizon there. So rather than going that way, I really want to aim more in this area, and I'm going to get myself over there closer to that ridge, and then I'll decide if I should go over the ridge or around the ridge. Loudest engine noise ever! Seems like I found a little bit smoother air here, and I'm definitely making better penetration. You know, sometimes on longer cross-country flights like this, you get everything set up and your hands off, you don't have to touch anything. Sometimes I get thinking, like, how unnatural is it that I'm up here just sitting in a chair basically, looking at the world from above, and how weird it is, like, that you feel so comfortable. Damn lawnmower powered lawn chair. Make sure we skirt around this little town. I may be totally incorrect, but can you guys see that? Totally looks like there's freaking pollution going into the river. It's not funny. There's a nice little park I could land at. Sketch. I can see all the way down there. Kid has a drone. Freaks me out a little, not gonna lie. So, one thing I've learned on this flight, freaking speed bar kills your legs. Okay, half speed bar, rest my legs a little bit. Now is probably a good time to make a decision. Do I want to go over that hill or around it? The shortest distance is directly over. The best wind is probably around. Oh man, my legs are completely asleep. Without speed bar, I am getting next to no penetration forwards. Decisions. In this whole area, I should have a clear path to fly pretty low and get back with great speed. So I think rather than going over the hill, I'm gonna go around it. So I'm gonna pick the higher ground speed but the longer distance. We're gonna have ground speed for sure. I just have to watch out for freaking power lines. Look at that view. That is so sick. A freaking Bambi down there. No Bambi! I think the wind is gonna lift at sunset so that it'll still be windy up high, but down low, it's gonna be calmer. Chasing down a flock of geese right now. That big tree right there, there's a hole in it where that branch came off. You can see straight through the tree. So as I fly above these fields, I'm kind of looking at, like, right there I could land. And then the next spot after that is the field there. It's
to like connect the dots. This ridge here, I'm gonna have to climb up and over. So I'm coming off a speed bar just a little bit. All right, coming around this little ridge, and then it's gonna open up into more familiar land. Rad. All right, one last ridge. That one right there that you can see the pipeline going over. The park is just on the other side of that hill. We're getting close. Just one more ridge to pop over, and then my legs will finally get some rest. You'd think it'd be easy, like, oh, just lock your knees and lock your feet, but it actually, it's not like that. I can see the park ahead. We're even gonna make it back by sunset. This has become far more of like an endurance challenge than I imagined. There she is. Yeah. Coming off a bar, I'm gonna stow it. It is good to be back. That took a lot longer than I expected on the way back. I'm gonna go ahead, shut my engine off. Still have to decide which way I want to land. I think I see it. I'm gonna hook in between the tree and the sign and not hit the goal. It's glassy smooth right now. Good way to end the flight. Come on in. Nice smooth approach. What's up, guys? Watch me freaking botch my landing. Nope. Greased it. Yeah, dude. Kids love paramotors. Freaking beautiful.
Alright, well that was super fun. I wouldn't say that was a challenging flight, but it definitely wasn't easy. It kind of turned into more of an endurance thing than I had imagined. I give mad props to those guys that flew the Icarus race. That's like over 1,000-mile race that they do over the course of a couple days. Crazy. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed that video. Hit that like button, subscribe if you have not yet, as always. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.